Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Samara Builds, where I'm building a better life. I'm trying to. And a big part of me building a better life has been therapy. Probably one of the biggest parts because it's just helped me so much. It's really hard for me to quantify or try to talk in detail about how much it's helped me. I've been in therapy for a long time and it's just helped me in so many ways over the years. I'm a huge advocate of it and proponent of it. I just think, like I've said before, I'm not a doctor. I'm not any kind of expert in any way at all, but I do think everybody should be in therapy at least once in their lives because we all face things that are bigger than us. And it can be really empowering to get that third party point of view to help you through it. So I'm going to go through all of the ways that I think therapy is helpful, like the different ways that it can help people. And I'll talk about some specific ways that it's helped me in particular. Just everybody take a deep breath with me. Let's relax our shoulders, relax our jaw. Maybe just show yourself a little bit of love right now. I like to put my hand on my heart when I do this. Oh, self, I love you. I love you. And if you can't say that to yourself yet, that's okay. But still say it. Because at least part of you deserves that, right? Right. I've met a lot of people who, when I tell them that, I'm in therapy, I've met so many people that they say this thing verbatim. Oh, I tried therapy once. It wasn't for me. And I get where they're coming from because, yeah, if you go to one therapy session and you don't vibe well with that person, or it's just not the right kind of therapy for you, it's like, okay, I tried that. But I'm going to say this with a big old fat but here. There's not just one therapist and there's not just one type of therapy. So I give this example of imagine you had never driven a car before. You read about it, maybe. You kind of had an idea of it, but you've never put it in motion. And you go try to drive a car where none of the mirrors are set up for you. The seat is down way too low, so you can't see out the window. It has a weird clutch system that you have to learn. The whole thing is really uncomfortable and frankly scary because you're driving on the roads in this vehicle that you can't operate well. And then if that person were to say, I tried driving's not for me, you'd probably say, well, you need a different car. That's what I say about therapy. If you try therapy once, you need a different therapist or a different kind of therapy. And I feel like you also have to understand going into therapy that it's not comfortable. It's awkward. I hate it sometimes. Genuinely, I love my therapist so much, but there are sometimes that I hate therapy because you have to lean into the uncomfortable things. If you broach on a subject that makes you feel defensive or bristle, or you just think I don't want to talk about that, chances are that's what you need to talk about, and that's what you're gonna eventually talk about. And so you do need to find a therapist that you're comfortable with. But like I said, it's not always going to be rainbows and sunshine. It's not a place to go where you just both talk about how great you are and how everybody else in your life is wrong all the time and you're right all the time. And it's just, it's not that. It's going to be uncomfortable and weird, and that's okay. You, through therapy, are going to learn to be able to sit in that uncomfort, in those bad feelings, and work through them and get to the other side. And it's a beautiful thing. It really is. So, one way that therapy can help is if you have a specific problem in your life that you need help dealing with. So, this can be something like you are quick to anger, and that's not part of the person you want to be anymore. A therapist can be a great person to help you figure out first of all, maybe why you're so angry, and then some different tools to help you react to situations differently, to help you be able to take a breath before you just immediately get to anger. It could also be something like somebody that you're close to died and you're having a really hard time processing that loss and that grief. Maybe you just feel stuck in your life. You feel like you're stuck in a rut and you just don't know what to do. I've been there. Therapy is great for that. If you're having like tons of anxiety or depression, I mean, if you feel like there's one thing that you need help with, therapy can be great. Like I said, I've been in therapy for a long time because I have some bigger, more complex things than just like one issue, which is fine. I'm so proud of myself for being in therapy and for getting help and for changing and growing. I love who I am. I'm really proud of myself for all the work that I've put in. One thing that therapy has really helped me with is being able to change my narrative. So, your narrative is the story that you tell yourself, and it's the story that you tell other people about yourself and your life. And while those stories aren't necessarily wrong, if you make small changes to those, it can make a profound impact. Like one of the podcasts that I mentioned that I listen to and love, Armchair Expert, Dax Shepard talks about how he used to say all the time, "Oh, I'm such a bad sleeper. I don't sleep well." And then he just literally stopped saying that to people and his sleep improved. That's, a simple example of what can sometimes be a complex narrative for yourself. A therapist can help you not only figure out like what your narrative is and maybe why that's your narrative, but help you readjust it into something that's maybe more helpful, something that can help you grow more and help you get closer to the person that you really want to be or you really are. An example for me with this, and I'm just going to get really personal here. I have always felt like there's just something inherently wrong with me. There's just something wrong with me. There's a lot of reasons why I've had that narrative, and it's because in a weird way my brain is trying to protect itself by telling myself that. Brains are crazy. But, through therapy I've learned that that's not true for me, and that's not my narrative. My narrative is really hard things happened when I was really young, when I couldn't put to words what was going on. And so my narrative is there's nothing inherently wrong with me. I'm reacting to a world where a lot of things are wrong in the world. This doesn't mean I'm perfect. This doesn't mean I don't make mistakes or do anything wrong, but it is saying there's nothing inherently just wrong with me as a being. I'm great the way I am. And sometimes life is hard, but that doesn't mean there's something wrong with me. Something else that therapy has really helped me with is being able to identify all of my emotions. I just really shut myself off from my own body and my own emotions for so long that there are so many times that I really feel like a little kid again, learning my emotions again. And so I'll go to therapy and I'll say, I'm just really mad at myself because of this situation. And I'll talk it through with her, and we realize maybe part of me is mad at myself, but really what's going on is I am overwhelmed with this situation. And then this other situation is making me feel sad. And, I could go through a list of a multitude of emotions I'm feeling rather than just one. It's been really helpful being able to really get down to the root of something and then also being able to communicate with the people I love how I'm feeling and what's going on. It's been really good. Another thing that therapy is great for is helping you get out of a pattern. So I think it's safe to say that we have all been in negative patterns or cycles in our life where we think, I know better why am I still making this mistake? And therapy can really help. First of all, teach yourself to show yourself some compassion and kindness and forgiveness in those times. And then figure out, yeah, why are you not doing what you need to do? And what are some different tools you can implement to help you get done what you need to? Or even, like, what do we need to change about the way you look at this pattern? I mean, there's just so many ways to go about it, and therapy and therapists are great to help you with that. Like I said, there are all kinds of different types of therapies as well. So, some kinds of therapies focus more on your behaviors and how to change those to change your life. Some types of therapy, it's more about like digging into your past to see, why your behaviors are the way they are. There's group therapies where you can get together with different people and talk about similar things. This is something that I'm actually really interested in. It's been really hard for me to find like a support group for people with depression. There are tons of support groups for people who have lost someone to suicide, and I'm so glad that they have those support groups. I'm sure that they are extremely needed. But I do think it's interesting that it's really easy for me to find those, but it's really hard for me to find a support group for people who are actually feeling that way. And so if anybody is watching this knows of anything in Utah, let me know. Thank you. Here are some tips for when looking for a therapist. Often your insurance company will have a list of therapists that are like in network for them. So that can be a good place to start just so you know they're covered. And I would just make a list for yourself of just like the basic things that you are looking for as an outcome from therapy. And then therapists will often have like a website where they have a bio that will list, different topics that they might specialize in or that they might see more patients of that particular issue or topic. You might want to decide if it's a person who's male or female, a person who's older or younger. Before my therapist I've been with now for a long time only saw men, and now I see a woman, and both have been great for me, and I wouldn't suggest one over the other. Just listen to yourself about like being honest about which gender you probably would feel more comfortable talking to and taking advice from, and there's no need to feel any judgment for yourself about that. You really are just looking for what's going to be the most comfortable for you, because like I said, it's going to get uncomfortable. You might also want to look for somebody who is of the same religion for you, if that's something that's important to you. Perhaps if you are on the LGBTQ spectrum, you might also want a therapist who's on that. I would say try to be open. Sometimes you can surprise yourself by going to somebody who on paper looks like it might not be a good fit, but when you go, you do vibe well. So try to be open. Don't give up after the first therapist. Like I said, that's just not the car for you. So try a different one. And I know it's hard. It's hard when you're already feeling overwhelmed or stressed about something in life to have to call and set up an appointment and go and just like start talking about things that you don't want to talk about because it's uncomfortable. And then you're trying to feel if this person's a good match or not. Be gentle with yourself. I always get a little treat right before therapy. Usually it's like a Starbucks drink or something like that. I don't wear any eyeliner or mascara to therapy because I know I'm always going to cry. And so I don't want to look like Alice Cooper. So light makeup. I would bring maybe like a journal or a notebook or something that you can take notes down in. It's a big step to decide to go to therapy and to meet up with that person. And so even if it doesn't work out with that particular person, take a moment to show yourself some gratitude and some love for trying, and then try again. Try again. You will be able to find somebody who's a good fit for you. It might take a few tries. I think I had to go to like 4 different people before I found my therapist, whom I love so much now. And don't give up. I mean, in all regards, don't give up. Don't give up on therapy. Don't give up on life. Therapy is one of the biggest tools in my toolbox, I feel like, because it's given me so many other tools in my toolbox. And so I'm just a big hype man for therapy. Go to therapy, everybody. Go to therapy. If you guys have any specific questions about therapy, please put them in the comments below. And that way I can respond back and everybody can see. If you have any other tips or tricks that I didn't mention or that you know about, please let me know all about those tips and tricks. I feel really grateful to this community, which is starting because I'm starting to feel more safe just being open and vulnerable with you guys. And that means a lot because it's been scary to like talk about mental health and stuff, even though it's what I'm wanting to do. It's so important. And I'm just super grateful that the feedback has been so positive. Please let me know if there's anything else you guys want to see in particular. I hope you're having a great day, great night, whenever you're watching this. I hope it's lovely. Share this with somebody who's been thinking about therapy. And if you're thinking about therapy, do it. Go to therapy. Also, do you like my mic? It's a DIY because I'm a DIY girly, obviously. This is an Arrow of my nephew's, and I clipped a little like lapel mic to it because I'm fancy. Thank you guys so much. I genuinely just thank you. Thank you. Okay, bye.